Welcome to this week's edition of Oncology Updates, covering the latest breakthroughs. Brought to you by LucidQuest. AstraZeneca's Imfinzi has been approved in the EU as the first immunotherapy for limited-stage small cell lung cancer. The Adriatic Phase 3 trial showed a 27% reduction in risk of death versus placebo, with a median overall survival of 55.9 months for Imfinzi versus 33.4 months for placebo. At 3 years, 57% of patients receiving Imfinzi were still alive. Imfinzi also reduced the risk of disease progression or death by 24%, with manageable safety. The FDA has granted full approval to pembrolizumab plus trastuzumab and chemotherapy as first-line treatment for HER2-positive gastric and gastroesophageal junction adenocarcinoma with PD-L1 CPS of 1 or greater. In KEYNOTE-811, median overall survival improved to 20.1 months with pembrolizumab versus 15.7 months with placebo. Progression-free survival was 10.9 months versus 7.3 months. The objective response rate was 73% versus 58%. Henlius received Orphan Drug Designation from the FDA for HLX22, an anti-HER2 monoclonal antibody, for the treatment of HER2-positive gastric cancer. HLX22 binds a different HER2 epitope than trastuzumab, allowing dual targeting and internalization of HER2 dimers. The drug is being evaluated in global Phase 3 trials in combination with trastuzumab and chemotherapy. Elevation Oncology is halting development of EO3021 after updated Phase 1 data showed an objective response rate of 22.2%. The drug's efficacy was not considered competitive. The company is shifting to EO1022, a HER3-targeted antibody-drug conjugate using glycan-specific conjugation. IND filing is expected in 2026. Workforce will be reduced by 70%, extending cash runway into the second half of 2026. Daiichi Sankyo's Datroway has launched in Japan for patients with HR-positive, HER2-negative unresectable or recurrent breast cancer after prior chemotherapy. It is the first TROP2-directed ADC available in Japan. In the TROPION-Breast01 trial, Datroway reduced disease progression or death by 37% versus chemotherapy. The most common adverse events were nausea, stomatitis, and fatigue. Interstitial lung disease occurred in 6.5% of Japanese patients. The FRUZAQA-2 Phase 2 of 3 trial showed that fruquintinib plus sintilimab met the primary endpoint of progression-free survival in patients with advanced RCC in China. The combination also improved objective response and duration of response compared to axitinib or everolimus. Regulatory filings are being planned. Candel Therapeutics and Idea Pharma have partnered to develop the market strategy for CAN2409 following strong Phase 3 data in intermediate to high-risk localized prostate cancer. The trial showed a 30% decrease in recurrence and 80.4% complete response in post-treatment biopsies. A biologics license application is being prepared. Akeso's cadonilimab, a bispecific PD-1 and CTLA-4 antibody, achieved a 100% objective response rate in a Phase 3 safety run-in for locally advanced cervical cancer. 84.8% had complete responses. The treatment was well tolerated, with no new safety concerns reported. The patient cohort included a high percentage with PD-L1 CPS below 1. JSKN-003, an anti-HER2 biparatopic ADC from Alphamab and CSPC, received breakthrough therapy designation in China for platinum-resistant recurrent ovarian, primary peritoneal, and fallopian tube cancers. Efficacy was observed in patients regardless of HER2 expression. Phase 3 trials are enrolling. Oxford Biotherapeutics has entered a multi-target discovery deal with Roche to develop antibody-drug conjugates using the OGAP Verify platform. The deal includes $36 million upfront and potential milestones exceeding $1 billion. Targets will focus on solid tumors. AstraZeneca and Alteogen have signed an exclusive license agreement for ALT-B4, a hyaluronidase that enables subcutaneous delivery of large-volume oncology drugs. This approach may reduce infusion times and improve convenience. Alteogen will supply the enzyme. AstraZeneca will oversee clinical development and commercialization. Stay ahead in oncology research. Like, share, and subscribe for weekly updates. Visit www.lqventures.com or email us at info@lqventures.com for expert healthcare consulting. See you next time.